Marriage should be fun, fulfilling, and full of joy, but too often, outside voices try to define what it should look like. Your Best Marriage Now is here to challenge the norms and help couples build a relationship that feels right for them. Hosted by Reshema and Jack Mountain, this podcast is all about embracing the freedom to love, laugh, and grow together. We believe in living at your own address, meaning your marriage should reflect your values, your happiness, and your vision. Join us as we share real conversations, practical insights, and plenty of fun along the way. Let's dive in together.
Hello, this is Jacques and Reshema, and we are here live with you, Your Best Marriage Now. And we like couples. We love. We love, y'all. And so on today's episode, we're actually going to be really focusing on our communication. We're going to be because we feel like that's the first thing that really sets the relationship to be the best relationship that you can have now.
Exactly.
So,
over the years, for those of you all who may be joining us for the very first time, we have been married coming up on 20 years this year. And we built our marriage on the three pillars that we call communication, compromise, and commitment. Mm-hmm. And last week we started talking about communication, but this week we want to go a little deeper into it. Some of the frustrations, some of the desires, some of the fears, why people don't communicate. So, if you need to know what we're going to talk about today, it's like, why aren't you talking to me? Yeah. So that's what we're going to dig into today. And I'll let you go ahead and just get started.
Well, for me, communication was real important because I'm a talker. Yes. Like, I can talk. You can talk, but I feel like I talk more than, and I think that may be a lot of women, that I like to talk. And I feel like if you're not talking to me, I feel like my whole day is messed up. I'm going to be honest, because we're such good friends. Right. And I didn't really realize that communication for me with you responding to me was a form of you expressing your love to me. And when we would have arguments and stuff and we weren't talking, I feel like everything would just shut down. Mm-hmm. I feel like the dog, when we did have a dog, got on my nerves. The kids need to go somewhere. I don't want to talk to nobody. Like, don't call me, because me and my best friend, we're mad at each other. Right. And it was hard for me because I didn't understand that you really do have emotions. Yes. And I want to talk about that. And we're going to continue to talk about that a lot, because we know other couples that we've talked to and worked with, they have felt like I have. Like, the women was like, okay, why aren't you talking to me? And you have shared now that we have grown in our communication is because ladies, they don't feel safe. Right. And I feel like you can better speak on that than I can.
Most definitely. Number one, we were trained not to talk. As a little boy, you better suck it up. You better be a big boy. You better not cry. Don't come home with those tears. You get a whooping for crying. So, you better pull it in and get it together, and don't be no sissy now. And, so we were trained not to talk. Mm-hmm. And if something did hurt, then, you couldn't go to dad. You had to go to mom to get it taken care of. Because dad was going to be like, oh, that ain't no big deal, boy. Back when I was in Vietnam, my leg got blown off and I ain't even cried.
And that's really his dad's story.
Real, yes. So, but they just basically, you weren't allowed to express your emotions, and then society perpetuated it. Mm-hmm. And then you go through high school not doing it. If you go to college or the military, and then by the time you get married, you are not proficient in sharing your emotions. Mm-hmm. You are not proficient at it. And then now you get into the biggest relationship of your life, and this person is saying, tell me what you think and what you feel. And you like, I don't know.
Tell me how you feel about me.
I love you.
Oh, my God.
And how do you really feel? I really love you?
That used to make me so mad. No, because I would say, I have to interrupt. Yeah, I have to. Man, y'all, listen, I would get so mad at this dude. All I wanted to know is how you feel about me. I wanted to know, are you in this with me? Don't have me out here in my emotions by myself. I don't want to be this kind of in love by myself. Right. I used to be afraid.
Right. And I was like, you got a big house, don't you? But you got cars and you got rings and lights and cameras and things going good.
But I didn't feel like I had all of you.
Right. And that was the part where I didn't know how to say any more than what I knew, which is, well, I love you. Well, I mean, but what you really feel? I mean,
Yeah.
I really love you. I mean, I love you a lot. I love you extremely. Love you. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no other vocabulary
Yeah.
that I had to express it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took, I mean, years for me to grow and to feel safe to even say certain things.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, like, you know, this thing really did happen to me in the 6th grade, and I really never have told anybody, but I would like to tell you, but I don't know if I should tell you, and I'm scared to tell you. Even though I'm 44, I'm scared to tell you about what happened to the 6th grader.
You know, it was year 7, I think you really start opening up. Year 7.
Yes, we were married 7 years before I shared a really
one major thing.
deep secret. Like I felt like I need to just get this out.
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, we came up with the term, we call it the pure place.
Yes.
Some people call it the safe place, but we call it the pure place. A pure place means I need to say something to you.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get something out. And it may not even be about you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for a response.
Yep.
I'm not looking for an answer. I just need to say this. Like in 6th grade, these boys took me in the bathroom. They beat me up. They stuck my head in the toilet. You know, something happened, and I just never told anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And from 6th grade on, that's why I don't hang with guys, and that's why I didn't play football, and I didn't join a fraternity, because you can't trust dudes. You never know what they're going to do. And I hold that for 38 years, and finally it's like, you know what? I just need to say it to somebody.
Yeah.
And we learned that pure place let us say things that there's no rebuttal to.
Mm-hmm.
There's no response. It's just, I just need to get this out.
And you guard that with everything.
Yes.
You don't ever bring it up.
Ever.
I never brought it up in an argument. I never used it as a weapon. Mm-mm. It was almost as if you didn't tell me.
That's
just how sacred it is. Yes.
Us. It is saying something that no other person on this planet knows. And I've never told another person on the planet the stuff that I've told you and won't.
Yeah.
Because that is the type of place we want you to get to. And that comes from years of talking, understanding. Yeah. As we talked about on the last episode, communicate means communicare. Mm-hmm. Where I know this person cares enough that, you know what, I can be common.
Yeah.
I can be ordinary.
Yes.
I don't have to be Superman, Mr. Fix It, Mr. Answer It All.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Like, we went through a financial situation years ago, and you used to ask me all the time, what are you going to do? And all these people again, and get on the thing, and get the interest rate dropped. And finally, they kept saying no, and I just was like, I don't know what else to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes we don't know what else to do, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I really don't have the answer.
Yeah. And that didn't register to me.
Yes.
Because I was taught that the man is the head, and you go to the man, he got the answers. You know, he hear from God, then he bring it to us. And the way I looked at you was like, well, you need to have the answers, because I don't know. And we got to get out of this, versus we both needed to say that we don't know, but we can go to God together.
Or go to somebody in the financial field and get some answers.
Yes. Let's do both.
Things.
Let's do both and.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was so much pressure on men to be the breadwinner, which is outdated. You don't have to be the breadwinner. We all bring bread home to the house together.
Yes, and we winning.
Yes, and we winning.
Because we eating.
Yes, right.
And we eating good.
Let's bring all of the bread home. Everybody bring home the bread.
Everybody bring the bread home, and we can eat good.
Yes, one big loaf. You don't have to have yours 5 slices and my 12.
Right.
It's all our bread. It's everybody's bread. So listen, what we're saying is, we get to the point where communication is normal. It's ordinary. Mm-hmm. You know, we talk to couples. For those of y'all, you know, who joining us on this platform, we have been doing marriage counseling for literally 15 years.
15 years.
Since 2010. Yeah. We've done married couples that ended up getting divorced. We've done premarital. We've saved some marriages, thank God. But these are not new conversations to us.
Yeah.
And when we talk to people And when they start sharing in counseling or sharing with us one-on-one, we're like, you've never told your spouse that? They're like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't tell them that. I don't trust them with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last time I told them something, we got in an argument, it came back. They threw it back in my face.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing you cannot do when somebody opens up their heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've told people to get over stuff and, you know, you just need to get past it. Well, you 49 now. You shouldn't even be thinking about that kind of stuff. But I can't undo the hurt.
Yeah.
I can't undo the hurt. So I am still thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the stuff. And that's why he says, David prayed, Lord, restore my soul.
Yeah.
My soul is messed up behind this stuff.
Yeah.
This stuff has hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why Jim just keeps gambling. I don't understand why Jim just keeps spending his money on these things and he's struggling because Jim's looking for a win.
Mm-hmm.
Every area in Jim's life, he's struggling. He's losing everywhere. Jim is just looking for a win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hurting the family, but he can't undo the hurt that's in him that's causing him to do it.
As a spouse, because it could be a male or female thing.
Exactly.
As a spouse, how can we become the safe space for the person to open up, to share what's really going on? Because for me, that's when the vulnerability, that's when I started to feel closer to you. Mm-hmm. So I want people to know some of the things that we've done, but if it works, hey, we want you to work it because we want you to experience it. But from a man, I want you to share, like, how can we create that space for your person to say, you know what, I'm hurt, or to say I'm broken.
Well, you know, for me, it was some things that were modeled. One of your family members, he's one of her uncles. This guy can cry at the drop of a hat. And man, that marked me. We were at that party that time and he got up to talk and he just broke down crying. And I was looking at him going, man, I could have never done that.
Yeah.
My pride, my ego, I could have never cried in front of all these people, but I want to. I wish I could. And then one time we were watching, back in the day, Will and Jada, when they first came out with the table talk.
Yes.
And this was way before all the foolishness happened. But he sat there and looked at her in her face and said, I love you. I care about you. I wanted you. And he cried. And I was like, man, I couldn't have never cried on TV like that. Because the fear, the pride, the quote unquote man law says you're not supposed to do that. And so I started seeing people doing it. And there was a desire in me to be that free. Yes. To be that open. Yeah. To be able to just say, man. And I remember one time we were at a house party. This was years ago at a Christmas party. And this couple had been married 15 years. And the guy got up and told his wife how much he loved her in front of the whole party. And he started crying. Those times marked me. Yeah. He cried just trying to get it out. And I was like, man, like, you ain't supposed to do that, big dog. You ain't supposed to be breaking down like that, you know. But I was seeing it's a real thing. Yeah. And so the way that women responded to these guys when they did it, it was embraced. Yes. I was like, can my nigga cry? Can you cry for me like Jodeci? Jodeci, cry. I just want to. Anybody else understand? I was like, can my man cue the song, please? I wanted it too. Oh my God, I wanted it. I was like, okay, all right. It's been an hour since you've been gone. Oh man. I wanted to do it, but I was just like, man, I can't. I was like, you know, everybody claimed they come from somewhere hard, but I really did. And the dudes that I grew up with literally trained us like, bro, you don't do that. Yeah. I remember being 13, 14, hanging out with them guys that were seniors in high school, and they was just certain things they told us, like, you don't ever tell a woman that. You don't ever say that. You know, we don't love them, you know, and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what I grew up hearing. Yeah. So, and then you bring that into the greatest relationship of your life, and now somebody's asking you to do just the opposite. Yes. Yeah. So from 13 to 34. So for 31 years, I heard the message of, we don't love them. They ain't nothing but, this and that. So, bro, don't you do that.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, now you walking down the aisle, looking somebody in the face, and it's supposed to be like, oh yeah, my heart beats for you, and as the water flows over the waterfall, so does my love for you. You don't have that in you. You just don't have it in you. You like, yeah, I love you. I love you a lot. I really love you. I love you forever. I mean, that's all you know. And so for men, what I'm saying is, guys, we have to go deeper than that.
Yeah.
And we have to go past just the basics, just the ordinary. Even one of the marriage conferences we went to, the host had a list of emotions.
Yeah, we had to practice.
We had to practice saying how we felt about each other.
Yes.
He was like, hey, there's 10 emotions on this page. Look and pick 3 and speak to your spouse and say, I appreciate you because you are such a good mother.
Yes.
I love you because of how you treated me when my mom passed. I honor you because you have been such a good wife to me. I mean, he made you say to the person what you appreciated about them.
Yeah.
And the women too, because then there's some women out here who aren't always as emotional either.
Yeah.
We always talk about men don't speak and men don't share. But there are women that have the same thing. They're like, well,
they've been hurt.
Right.
You've opened up.
Exactly.
You've opened up and you've given that. You've given your heart to somebody.
Yes.
You've given those words to somebody and they have broke your heart.
Yeah.
And you like, we make those inner secret vows.
Yes.
I'm never going to let anybody that close to me again. And what was this? This was in 2021.
Right, 2021.
We started learning how to, you more than me, articulate with a whole sentence.
Yes.
Finding other words. As educated as you are with your smart self, still on the emotional communication connection side, you had, I love you. You get the new ring that I bought you?
Right.
Your gifts were your language.
Yes.
But I was looking for your words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, and I was glad you said that because I'm highly educated in my profession, but I was elementary in my emotions.
Oh, that's good, babe.
You see what I'm saying?
That's good.
And so we think one translates to the other, and it doesn't.
Yes.
I'm a great career person. Yeah. But then you may not be a good father.
Right. Yeah.
And it's almost like a equalizer on the music. You high in one area, but you kind of low in some others, and we need to bump up everything.
Yes.
The bass is real high, but the treble is down. I need you to bring the treble up. I need you to bring the mids up. I need a balance.
That's what I was looking for.
What we do is we want to take one and say, well, didn't I provide? Don't I have this? Don't I do that? Yeah, you do. You're real high. You at 10 in that area, but you kind of 3 in father. You kind of 1 in husband. I need husband and father to come up.
But nobody wants to hear that.
No, they don't.
Nobody wants to feel like I'm a failure. The world and everything on the outside has all these measurements. And especially with social media.
Yes.
We have to be top tier, a 10, on top of a 10, on top of a 10 every time. And it's hard to come home and to say, I'm not. I don't want you to tell me I'm a 3. I don't want you to tell me I'm a 2. I don't want you to tell me I'm anything less than a 10 because now I'm feeling less than as a person. Yes. And that's not what we're saying. We're saying let's communicate. Let's bring it common. You know what? I'm not the best communicator, but I'm willing to try.
Yes.
I'm willing to try.
For my friend, I will
For
try.
my friend,
and
yes.
These preconceived things, every brother, we always talk about this with communicating when it comes to sex. Because if you had sexual relationships before you got married, everybody thinks they come into the relationship and they the best thing that ever happened to
everybody done put it down.
Everybody done
put it down somewhere. And it's like, no.
And maybe you did for that person, but that don't necessarily mean it works here.
That's what we be trying to say.
And so we're saying to couples, and we've even had it our own selves, like, let's communicate. This isn't a put down to tell you I don't like position A.
Yeah.
That's just me sharing that position A doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a put down for you to tell the guy, hey, I don't like position B.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do what works for us. And then this brings us to one of the things that, like, our little motto for our life is live at your own address.
Please.
Live at your own address. We're not living at the dorm. We're not living at the military base where you got your groove on. We're not living in any of those places. We're living here at this address, and positions 1, 3, and 5 work for me. Oh, you've never done number 5 before? Okay, great. Well, let's discuss and let's make it where we live.
And that brings to our compromise.
Yes.
Because this is it. This is the last sexual partner I'm going to have.
Right.
At least I'm praying that's what y'all are thinking. But this is it. So I'm willing to hear. I'm willing to come into what you got going on in your heart and compromise because you're my friend.
Yes.
And I want what we have to grow. And I want you to feel like I'm in this and I'm open to what's important to you.
Man, that answers the question to what you just asked. You know, we took a long way to get here. Mm-hmm. But how do we get to a place where we're feeling like I'm safe enough to share?
Yes.
And when you've seen the person compromise, when you've seen the person work with you and walk with you, then you can trust them. Mm-hmm. And trust does have to be built.
Yeah.
You know, we said just the other day, we didn't think we could have loved each other anymore. Year 1, we loved each other. And if somebody said, oh, man, 10 years from now, y'all going to love each other even more, we'd have been like, nah, there ain't no greater than what we got right now.
Yep.
But we was like, we was wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't know because you've only done what you've done. You've only experienced what you've experienced. You know, your wife might introduce something to you or your husband introduce something to you that brings y'all closer together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's what happened once I shared the first time with you and it never resurfaced or was brought back up in an argument or in a negative way. It's like, oh, okay, I can trust them now.
Yes.
I can say something again that I really wanted to say because they held that. And so it builds.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where it doesn't just have to be when I say pure place or safe place that you're going to listen. Now I can just share on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's the intimacy and the oneness that comes once you start sharing. But we got to get past the surface level of stuff.
Yes.
We got to get past just, I go to work, we pick up the kids, we do homework, we watch TV, we go to bed, and then we do it again tomorrow. After a while, that gets boring.
It does. It does.
And that's where people start looking for other interests. But we want to be the interest. We want to communicate enough and grow enough where we are becoming one. We care about each other. We're the one thing that is most important.
Yeah.
And people can grow from there.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
And with that, we done with this one.
We are done. And we just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Dream Home Inspections. Dream Home Inspections is a home inspection company and a commercial inspection company who can meet all of your inspection needs, making sure that people know exactly what they're going to buy and giving you good information before you make your purchase. So if you're looking to get an inspection, reach out to Dream Home Inspections, and their number is 678-516-9467, or you can look at the link below and go to their website at www.dreamhomeinspection, no S on the end, .org.